What all do you think one can cover in a weekend? Well, if you ask me, this time I'm off to the jungles of Bandhavgarh. I have 48 hours to do this. I'm going to take 4 flights, cover 300 kilometers of road journey, and take 2 tiger safaris. All this between Friday night and Sunday night. I hope all this effort is going to be worth it and we spot something really interesting in these jungles. I'm not doing this by choice, but it's just that this time I'm on a very, very tight schedule. There are direct flights and trains available to go from Bombay to Jabalpur, but in case you're not able to book it, then you'll have to go the long way route via Indore, where sometimes you'll have to do an overnight layover at Indore. That's what I had to do. Once you reach Jabalpur, it's a good 4.5 hour journey to go to Bandhavgarh. Don't trust Google Maps completely. Some of the roads it was showing were not really drivable. So trust a bit on the driver. And the roads are comfortable at bits and pieces. It's a challenge, but all in all, it's a comfortable journey. It will feel like you're driving through a forest, and it's absolutely beautiful. So an hour and a half away from Jabalpur, you will come across this beautiful lake, which is an ideal rest stop. There's a restaurant right up this slope with beautiful views of this particular lake. There are some nice birds there. There is a red-naped ibis. There are a few egrets, and it's really a nice, relaxing, calming place. It's a bit hot because it's midday, but if you're en route to Bandhavgarh, make sure to halt here. Do you remember how villages were described in our storybooks long back? It was exactly like that. A herd of cattle grazing on the hills nearby, villagers sitting under a tree chit-chatting, children jumping into the lake and having a good time. It was absolutely beautiful. It blew my mind. This is the restaurant I was talking about, Midway Treat. I'm not promoting it, but it was one of the decent places I found on the route. I finally reached Bandhavgarh and there was just enough time for a quick shower, a quick snack, and off to the first safari of this tour, which was at the Tala Gate. The Tala Gate was luckily just a couple of kilometers from the hotel. There was a lot of activity at the Tala Gate, a lot of tourists who were there. There were 3 basic gates at Bandhavgarh, Tala, Magadi and Khitoli. And in this trip, we're going to cover 2, Tala and Magadi Gate. अच्छा महीने में कितने होते होंगे?
ये टाइगर सब भागते हैं मतलब गांव की तरफ।
हाँ
क्योंकि इजी प्रे कहलाता है ना वो।
बराबर बराबर। तो हर महीना मतलब कितना 4-5 केस आता है ऐसा?
उतना ही रहता है मतलब। और ये पार्क से एकदम लगा हुआ गांव है पूरे चारों तरफ, तो कैटल पर ज़्यादा निर्भर रहते हैं।
बराबर। मुआवजा देती है ना कुछ तो सरकार ये ना
कंपनसेशन देते हैं।
In many forests, the forest department has a few domesticated elephants which help them reach certain inaccessible areas in the forest. So this is a domesticated elephant, not a wild one. And the monkeys were up to their usual antics. These are strangler vines. As the name suggests, they strangle other trees to death. They get their nutrients from these trees, make massive bridges, and in the end, kill them. So the safari went by pretty fast, and we were at the end of our first safari at the Tala zone. It's 5 a.m. We're just about to start a safari into the Magadi zone at Bandhavgarh. I finally had a good night's sleep and I'm all set and all excited of what this safari will get us today. अच्छा ये नया पुराना कैसे आप पता लगाते हो?
सर उसमें डस्ट थोड़ा सा वैसे ओस जो पड़ा है ना,
हाँ 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 हाँ,
उससे थोड़ा क्लियर चल रहा है।
अच्छा,
बूंदे पड़ी हुई है उसमें।
बराबर बराबर।
ये बजरंग भी हो सकता है।
अच्छा
बलवा का मेल बच्चा है, वो भी बहुत बड़ा दिखता है। बजरंग
अच्छा
का ही बेटा है।
अच्छा।
वो भी
The tracks which we were following were that of a male tiger, and a little while down the road, we started hearing calls. These were langur calls. Now, this is one of the best ways to try and track down a predator is to listen for calls and then move towards the direction of calls. Unfortunately, the calls went further and further into the jungle, and we were not able to really follow them. Fresh tracks. This time there are tigers, and these went on for almost 3 kilometers. Most of these tracks are on the soft road. This is because even the tigers don't want to use the rough as well as the grassy route. They prefer to walk onto these roads, which makes it convenient for them. If how do you differentiate between a male and a female tiger? You can refer to my previous Tadoba video to get an idea on this. Again, fresh calls, this time of a barking deer. The barking deer call is supposed to be one of the most precise calls. And there are also various different calls that these animals make on sighting various different types of predators. So, more on that later on. So many calls, so many tracks, but even the jeeps were confused what to follow. And we did not end up sighting any big cat this time in our safari. If you look to its neck, you will see a small bulge. Unfortunately, I was not able to capture it, but it just ate a frog, and that's where the bulge comes from. This is the lesser adjutant, a vulnerable species in the stork family, the population of which is declining. And this marks the end of our safari in Bandhavgarh, a short and sweet 2-day journey. I still have to cover a lot of ground to get back to Mumbai. So no predator sightings this time. They were missed. Bandhavgarh is famous for its tiger population, its tiger sightings. So I'll be lucky enough next time to spot some of these when I'm here. On my way back, I just saw this Paryat Dam on the map and I had a few hours to kill. So I had a quick stop here. This was a really beautiful place. There was a trail which was around 2 kilometers. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel Jungle Pratham. Explore more jungles with us.